everybody, welcome. My name is Chef Rob. Today we're going to make a Cajun Penne pasta with chicken and some scallions in it. What's really great about this, it's a one-pot meal. We all like that, right? Just clean one pot, dinner's done. You could even serve it in that same pot. So let's start. I'm going to take some chicken. I'm taking about a ½ pound of chicken. You can use the boneless chicken thighs, the chicken tenders, chicken breast. Just don't overcook it. Okay, so I am just going to take about a ½ pound of the chicken. Always want to kind of feel the chicken that it kind of springs back at you a little bit. That means it's fresh. If it kind of like you press your finger, kind of sits there, it's getting older. So be really cautious on that. So I'm going to cut this into 1-inch thick pieces. Again, about a ½ pound. And I am today using the chicken tenders. And I'm just going to season these with some Cajun spice. Cajun spice does have quite the kick to it. So if you're not the spicy fan, you could just cut that spice right in half. And if you really like your spice, of course you can always add more. Everybody's very different on that. When you see the chicken tenders has this little white in it, you want to make sure that is cut out. Okay, because that is very tough. Just get rid of that. So we're going to toss this in the bowl. Add some of the Cajun spice. And then I am going to heat up some chicken and start cooking it. Okay, for the Cajun spice, I'm using about 1 1/4 teaspoons. So if you want to stay a little safe, you can go about a ½ teaspoon and then kind of build it up if you think you need it. Okay. Just like that. Take a fork or something. If you have gloves, it'll work out really good. Tossing it around. Just want to kind of season the meat really well. Okay, I'm going to turn on my burner. I'm going to add just a little bit of olive oil in here. And once it starts getting hot, we're going to start cooking that chicken. This is really, really delicious. And like I said in the beginning, it's a one-pot meal. So we're going to actually, with the broth that we add to this, we're going to cook the pasta in the same dish. So really good, really easy. Okay. While the chicken is cooking, we prep our vegetables. That way, when everything is ready to be added in, they're all ready. I have some beautiful scallions here. I have yellow pepper. Now you can use green pepper, you can use yellow, orange, red. Any of them would work. Some people are not fans of the green peppers. It works really well with this. But if you want to tone down a little, use the yellow one. Okay, I'm just going to add in this seasoned chicken meat. Get a nice little sizzle on it. Cook this for a few minutes. And then we're going to add in our bell peppers and our onions. In the meantime, we're just going to chop our peppers. One nice sized pepper is good enough. Just always take out those little seeds. And then we have 1 onion. 1 small onion would be good enough for this. And I actually like to cut the pepper just like this because you get those little grooves on the inside of the pepper. And it makes it really easy to cut. Where the outside has a very shiny skin, and that you can kind of slip with your knife. And just turn it, and you're just giving it a nice chop. And what's really good is you have some of the stewed tomatoes, you have the yellow peppers, the onion, the green scallions, so you have a lot of colors going through this. I just want to give this a nice stir. Okay. Back to my onion. I am just going to cut this into small pieces. You can use different pastas with this. Always try to use like maybe a small pasta, whether it's the penne, whether it's even like a fusilli. That would all work really well with this dish here. And we have our chicken broth. When we do the chicken broth, you can always add a boxed chicken broth or make your own for it. So that makes it really good. Just going to stir this chicken just a little bit more. Just a couple minutes for the chicken in here. And then we add our peppers and onions. Got some nice seasoning on it. And just turn it like this. And just give it a nice chop. And the onions and peppers go in at the same time. Okay, so we have them all reserved. I have my scallions that we will finish up with. I'm going to cut off these little roots. These little roots here. Just put in some nice soil, nice sunny area in your yard, and they'll grow back for you. So leave those to the side. Cut the little tops off right here. And then we use the lighter green right into the white. Okay. Okay. Still needs more cooking, but we can certainly get our onions and peppers mixed into this. Just like that. And we're just going to give this about 2 to 3 minutes just to kind of soften the onions and the peppers. They're just going to give up some of their juices. And then we're going to stir in a little bit of fresh garlic. Always try to use that fresh garlic. Take the real fresh head of garlic and use it that way. Okay, looking really, really good. Okay, so I am using some diced tomatoes. The diced tomatoes, they should have a nice chunks just like this, okay? Always try to buy a nice quality brand. Some of the other things that are going in here, we have about 3 ounces of cream cheese, and that's going to give it a nice creaminess to it. And then I've got a little coat of salt, black pepper, some of the fresh garlic, and then our chicken broth. And the chicken broth is what is going to make the pasta start to cook in there. We're going to cook it al dente. Okay, if you like it a little softer, of course, you just keep cooking it a little bit more. Okay, time to add in our fresh garlic. So it's about 1 large clove of the garlic. Just chop it really small. We're just going to cook this for a while, about 1 minute. And then we're going to add our pasta. And we're going to add our chicken broth. And our diced tomatoes as well. Okay, so I'm putting in about 8 ounces, half a pound of the pasta, okay, the penne pasta. So put that in here. I'm just going to give it a quick toss. And now I'm going to add 2 cups of the chicken broth. That cook right in here. There goes that noise, goes right down. Okay, we're going to add in diced tomatoes. The diced tomatoes that we're adding in is one of those 14-ounce cans, so pretty small can. But you want the juices, tomatoes all in there just like that. I'm going to bring this to high. It's going to cook for about 15 minutes, okay, because it needs to still come to a boil. Okay, make sure all that pasta is down in the water here. So So we're about 7 to 8 minutes into cooking the pasta. As you can see, boiling, medium-high heat. We want to reduce the broth to about half because that is going to give it a nice thickness to it. And then we're going to add in the cream cheese. So about 15 minutes has passed. Our pasta is nice and al dente. You can see that there's not too much broth left in there, so it has thickened where it will start coating the noodles. But now we're going to take it off the burner, add the cream cheese to it. That will give it a nice creaminess texture to it. So I'm just going to kind of dice up some room temperature cream cheese. About 3 ounces is good. And take this, and if you see that it's a little bit lumpy, don't worry, because as it kind of sits, it just kind of loosens up and gives it a nice creaminess in here. When you are cooking the pasta, if you start seeing that your broth is running a little low, you may have put in a little too much pasta, and you can always add a little bit more broth. Okay, so we're just going to put these little diced up pieces of cream cheese in here. Off the burner because you don't want it to kind of curdle. And now I'm just going to kind of stir this in really slowly. I'm going to add about 1.5 teaspoons of the kosher salt. Add that in there just like that. You can always put a little bit of the fresh ground black pepper. And just let this kind of loosen up the cream cheese, and then we're going to garnish it with some chopped scallions on top. You can always check it to see if you need a little bit more heat in it, because remember it's a Cajun pasta. And if you do, put in a little bit of the Cajun seasoning just like this, and it's as easy as just giving it just a little bit right in here, but just make sure you mix that up really well. This could be made with a little bit of heavy cream, if you like it a little more creamier. Even a sour cream could help this too. But the cream cheese gives it a nice body, and as it sits, if you were to put this in the refrigerator, it is going to just thicken up. Okay. Now if you're using the white meat, just expect that the white meat's going to be a little on the drier side because you're cooking it in there. It's a one-pot dish. So if you're cooking the white meat drier, the dark meat holds the moistness a little bit more. That works well in this. Okay, so we're getting our nice creaminess texture to this right now. I'm just going to pour this right into this bowl right here. This would serve about 4 people. 4 people would be really easy to serve. And now I'm just going to cut up the scallions. This you can put as much or as little as you want. It could be 2, 3, 4 scallions. Always the white parts and then into the lighter green. And this certainly could be made ahead of time and then just put into a casserole dish and ready to heat up again later. Let's just put this right on top. The scallions make it look really pretty. And this is the way your dish should look. And this is a Cajun chicken penne pasta with scallions. So I hope you'll enjoy this. It's a really nice spring dish. Stay well, and thank you for always watching my videos. Sweet Caroline.